Hello, this is Gary Finklea with the Finklea Law Firm. I wanted to share with you a plaque we recently received from being a sponsor of the Justin O'Connor Memorial Fund. This supports California Dreaming Gala and Auction. While we are pleased to be a part of that, we regret the reason for that event, which is the untimely and unexpected death of Greg and Kathleen O'Connor's son, Justin. He was killed while operating a vehicle, and he was distracted. His parents saw the need to raise awareness, and thus they organized this event. And through this video, I hope to raise awareness of the dangers of distracted driving and what causes it. Not just the obvious, but let's take it a step further. First, distracted driving is a very serious issue that National Highway Traffic Safety Administration reports as many as 4,000 people a year die as a result of distracted driving, and almost 400,000 are injured. Our office handles a lot of distracted driving cases, and there are a multitude of types of distractions. So many times we simply think of texting, but distracted driving has been around for years, but unfortunately it is becoming too far of a common thing. There are various types of distractions. Generally, we sort those into three categories. The first is visual distractions. In other words, you take your eyes off of the road for one reason or another. It could be to text. It could be to program the air conditioning. It could be to change the radio. It could be to surf the radio. It could be to go into a bag. It could be to pass something to a kid behind you. Then there are manual distractions, and those are distractions where you take your hands off the wheel, and it could be just like the visual. It goes hand in hand with the visual. You look to the radio, well then you go to the radio and change the station. You look at the bag and go in the bag. You look to your kid, you go to your kid. And the third one is cognitive distractions, and that's simply where you take your mind off of what you're doing. And the fourth type is really a combination of any one of the first three. So they're all kind of distractions. Distraction is often fatal or can result in serious bodily injury because of the danger that operating a motor vehicle presents. A car is a very heavy, fast-moving object that can result in death or serious bodily injury. I wanted to share with you some statistics in regard to speed and how fast the car travels in feet per second. Some folks may know this, some may not, but to me, this really drives home why distracted driving is so dangerous. First of all, and you can Google this, but converting miles per hour to feet per second, I think will help you understand the dangers. First, if you're operating a vehicle at 10 miles per hour, you are traveling 15 feet per second. If you're operating a vehicle at 20 miles an hour, you're traveling at 30 feet per second. If you're operating at 40 miles per hour, you're traveling at 60 feet per second. If you're operating a vehicle at 70 miles per hour, you're operating at 105 feet per second. Now often, and you can think of this in your own mind, when you're distracted, rarely is it for a second. Typically it is for 2 or even 3 seconds at a minimum. Let's use 3 seconds as the guide to figure out how fast you go in feet, or how far you go in feet for every 3 seconds. First, if you're traveling 10 miles per hour, you are traveling 45 feet per second. Or not 45 feet per second, but 45 feet in 3 seconds. If you're traveling at 30 miles per hour, you're traveling at 45 times 3, or 135 feet per second. If you are traveling 50 miles per hour, you're traveling 75 feet per second, or for 3 seconds, you're traveling 225 feet per second. If you're operating at 70 miles per hour, that's 105 feet per second, or for 3 seconds, over 300 or 315 feet. That's a football field. So you can see why distracted driving is so dangerous, because it does not take but a second of time for your vehicle to travel a very far distance. And I don't think people realize that. In my line of work, that's something I think about when I'm behind the wheel all the time. It's something I worry about as I drive past people, seeing them texting or being distracted and attending to things. My pet peeves, I think, are texting, eating, and putting on makeup. Used to, and distracted driving, again, it's not a new phenomenon. Used to, I would see people reading a magazine or a newspaper driving. Far too often, we see people reaching for something in the seat. And even for kids, if you've got kids, you're reaching for something to keep them attentive. But the danger in distracted driving is how far you travel in feet per second. So I hope a review or analysis of that information, those quantities will help you recognize the dangers of distracted driving. Keep those numbers in mind when you are tempted to do something that you shouldn't, other than focusing on the wheel, to less avoid distracted driving. And let me share that if you are the unfortunate victim of an automobile accident who are injured for distracted driving or one reason or another, our office will be glad to assist you with that claim process. Thank you very much.